Cars lining up on the front row of the grid. Who is going to take round 6 of season 9 of the AOSC Super Series? The 5 lights are on, and we are away racing for 150 kilometers. It was a strong start for Myers, but not enough to get him alongside Scott. Really no one challenging just behind. Shepherd getting ahead of Worley, a little bit of side by side for 4th and 5th positions at the moment. As on the most part, they are already in single file further down the orders. They approach the above for the first time in this event. Still trying to come back at the moment is Worley against Shepherd. It seems like Worley has just got ahead of Shepherd, but only by about a tenth of a second. The top three though well in single. Got Corey Shepherd trying to chase down Philip Worley, but Worley just with a little bit of a toe from Jordan Ross, and maybe that's just protecting that.
Yeah, some days the toe down Conrod straight will work for you, some days it won't. Looks like in this case Corey Shepherd's closing up to the back of Philip Worley, and he's not really got the pace to run at him just yet, but he's definitely got the pace to go with him in terms of lap speed. Basically around the corner, see if their lap times are roughly similar. Not too bad from either of them. Shepherd on a 2:03.6 and Worley on a 2:03.66. So yeah, there's a very minute difference between them. As Scott's put up the overlay, thank you for that. So yeah, the Shepherd is actually closing up on Worley.
Remarkable how similar they were on lap 2 and 3. They were really seemingly determined to keep the gap between the two of them the same. Obviously, that is under safety car, but I would have thought there'd be a little bit more of a fluctuation. But no, they kept that gap very consistent under safety car. Corey Shepherd gaps down to 0.3 of a second, and Worley now over second behind Ross. So if he did have a little bit of a toe before from Ross, he's certainly not going to have any toe anymore. The toe effect not particularly strong in this car. Just on the brakes into the chase, that was almost in range. And perhaps a slightly better exit as well for Shepherd. Gets the gap down to a tenth and a half. But no way through into turn 2. Is it going to be into the chase? The best overtaking opportunity around the circuit, you think, no?
Absolutely, the chase is the best opportunity, but let's not forget there's Griffin's Bend as well. That's a massive long, after Mountain Straight, it's a massive long braking section that you can definitely try and throw the nose down the inside. I did see Corey Shepherd had a look at Murray's Corner there, so whether he's thinking about it, whether he's lining up his options, whether he wants to intimidate Philip Worley into the mistake, it'll be interesting to see what transpires.
Big queues of cars further up. Again, Shepherd. He's getting closer and closer, down to 0.2 of a second into the chase. There's not really worth the risk at this early point in the race for Shepherd to go for a massive dive. Maybe on the last lap he would have gone for a massive lunge already. But he may as well just save a little bit of fuel, save the tyres as well. Whilst he is sat behind his rival, of course, we are expecting pit stops as early as perhaps lap 10 as Worley. Has he made a mistake? Has he gone into the wall? No, it's just been a half spin, I think, for Worley, and he's down into 7th place, so was in 4th, and that really does release Corey Shepherd now. And this is how it happens. He's so actually the move just ahead. Oh, was that a bit of net code? And did Briggs to avoid it?
I think that was contact. Netcode incident, so Corey Shepherd got away with that one quite cleanly. It just unfortunately the netcode bump in there, but they'll race on and
started to separate out a little bit now. This battle further up, Ross is under big pressure on Shepherd. Shepherd with good pace, really good pace at the moment. He's pretty much matching the leaders. Remember, he was stuck for a while behind another man. Look at the straight line speed as well for Shepherd. That was incredible. I don't know if that's a setup change or maybe that is just the draft. But he was making loads of time. As Ross goes wide, that's on the grass, that's the position gone. And that's going to be a couple of places lost because, well, can Briggs take advantage of this as well? Ross will have to leave the line open. And Jordan Ross with a strange mistake, and now he comes into the pits. He should get a penalty for that pit entry, but is that just the tyres gone, guys? What's What's the reason for that? That was all very last minute.
That's a combination of pressure and making a mistake and using that moment to maximise or minimise the penalty of paying that mistake by using that option to pit and get on some fresh tyres.
He's giving it all he's got. They're coming through Murray's now. It's like we've still got Shepherd stationary in the lane. He's been there for 14 seconds, dropped and now away, but not going to be able to maintain that spot. We'll see him just catch up or be overtaken by these guys as they work their way up the mountain one more time.
Well, it seems as though he's just got it, cutting the first corner, and Shepherd, that is the perfect place to be. Another half a second stationary, and I think he would have probably been got. But instead, it is Corey Shepherd who maintains effectively third place. And that is just testament to how fast that Premier Racing team car is, that he can go 1 lap longer than Briggs, 2 laps longer than Ross. And despite being on those old tyres, maintaining good pace. And that should be P3 for him, and might even have a chance of putting some pressure on Scott and Myers in the closing stages of the race. Danny is certainly holding it on longer than last time. Just goes before the final corner, and to start lap 16 of this race, James Scott for Logitech G Alpha C Sports leads away a 1-2 start for them. Corey Shepherd only half a second behind the second place man at the moment, quite getting the launch that he needed in order to launch an attack. Behind them, once again, single file. You can see there Shepherd really desperate to put a challenge on the car number 22, but he remains 4.5 tenths of a second back, and no opportunity into the next right-hander. And as we saw last time, single file all the way down the order. Too many overtakes, but I expect a few drivers to try to take advantage of this in a few corners' time.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the top three really read the jump quite well when Scott got away. Briggs, Ross and Worley just lagging a fraction behind, but they should be able to close up quite a bit of that margin as they work their way up over the top of Skyline. And as they head down into the grade here, those cars are looking pretty handy, so they should be all right there. Further down the field, everyone else still within 3 or 4 tenths of each other as they get back underway now.
What lap they came into the pits, their length of pits, it's all really useful stuff. So do click on the live timing link in the description below, provided by SDK Gaming, and you can get all that data up. You've got an extra monitor.
Just looking behind this battle, looks like Adam Briggs is now closed up onto the back of Corey Shepherd as well. These guys scrapping for that third spot. They've been dropped a little bit, both these two, by our leading two Altus cars, so a little bit of work for them to do. Jordan Ross and Phil Worley not too far behind. That little battle for third is right on board with Briggs. Drops that car down over Skyline. The gap between himself and Corey Shepherd, only 3 tenths of a second as they work their way down through the hill. Both these cars riding that curve very, very nicely, and head down to Forest Elbow. This should be a good opportunity here for Jordan Ross to get a nice solid run as they work their way down onto Conroy, where they need it, and being able to drive away. Shepherd's still doing a fantastic job holding onto that third position as they work their way up the hill. Briggs has not let go of him here. These two have been pretty well inseparable the last couple of laps. They're keeping enough of a distance over Ross, Worley and Stokes behind, but the more that battle continues to fight on, they're definitely going to bring those three up.
Corey Shepherd, it was a solid pre-qualifying from yourself. One of the fastest cars in the session I was watching, but only netted P5 on the grid tonight. Run us through the race from your perspective.
Yeah, it was a tough race. I made a few moves on Philip Worley and Jordan Ross and just stayed P3 for the rest of the race, but it was tough holding Adam up.
Yeah, you had some incredible pace early on, and it did look like you got past Jordan and Briggsy to claim P3, but it did look like you had some great pace early on. Are you possibly running a lower wing setting than the rest of them?
No, not a lower wing setting. I've just got tyre degradation issues at the minute.
We saw you sort of trying to undercut Brady and Scott in the pit stops. Did you think the safety car was going to help, or Was it too far gone, the gap, by then?
Yeah, possibly, but yeah, they did have a very big gap on me.
Yeah, it was a sizable gap to close down, but you definitely did your best to try and close it, no doubt. Looking forward to Mid-Ohio next round. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yep, sure am. I've actually never been there. I don't even know anything about the track, so yeah, should be a good one.
Don't quote me, but I think it goes left at turn 1. And did you want to give a shout out to any of your sponsors here tonight?
Yeah, massive thank you to Mr. Antenna for sponsoring me. Big thanks to the guys at Premier Racing Team for all their support. And a massive thanks to you guys for putting on the great show.
Thanks, Corey. Awesome run tonight. Well done on your 3rd place, and we'll see you next time out.
Cheers, guys. See ya.
So Corey Shepherd with a very well earned 3rd place today for Premier Racing Team. Word on